Many people doubted. Many people challenged us. But we did it today. Our collection of engineering monsters, all printed exactly to the same scale, in the same proportion, is about to welcome the king. Simply the tallest building in the world. The largest structure ever made by a human being. Burj Khalifa. Hold on. This is just the tip of it. Wait a bit, and you'll see how big this thing is. We've been working on this collection, made with a 3D printer, for about a year now. The idea here is to take several famous engineering works, like the Titanic Zeppelin, the Egyptian pyramid, and print everything at the same scale, all in the same proportion. We're using a 1 to 500 scale here. That means every centimeter built here in the miniature corresponds to 5 meters in real life. This collection is very special because you can put side-by-side things that would never fit together in real life. For example, what it would look like if Christ the Redeemer was inside the Colosseum, or what it would be like to put the Titanic next to the Saturn V rocket, which took man to the moon, the Zeppelin next to the largest submarine in the world. Almost everything here we made with a filament 3D printer. I think only the whale, the airplane, and Christ the Redeemer were printed in resin. 3D Lab was the one who gave us these printers. They also provide the resin and the filaments. And there are several of these monuments here that took many days to build. We had to split them into several pieces, and then to paint them. I'll be honest with you, it took several weekends. The ones that gave me the most work here were the Titanic and the Colosseum. The Titanic, because it depended on a lot of little details, and the Colosseum, because I wanted to give it an aged look. That look of something that's over 1,000 years old. And of course, a collection like this wouldn't be any fun if we didn't include the tallest building in the world here, the highest structure ever built. But then there was a serious problem. Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, located in Dubai, is 828 meters tall. At the scale we're working with here, it would be 1 meter and 66 centimeters tall. That's almost my height. It wouldn't be the simplest thing to find a 3D printer that could fit this building. So what did we do? We cut it into 10 pieces, and it took a few days to print. We glued everything together and painted it gray, though it's actually mirrored. Sometimes it reflects the sky's color. Other times it looks like grayish clouds. Sometimes it resembles the desert's color. It was hard work, but the result is beautiful. Check it out. This here is the tallest building in the world at a 1 to 500 scale. Hey Jansen, does this thing fit in the frame? It's huge. The building is almost reaching the ceiling. Not bad, huh, Pele? About % of the lights now, huh? So guys, that's the size. We won't be able to keep showing the whole building in the video all the time. But you get that it's absurdly bigger than anything we have here on the table. This building is 828 meters tall, has 160 floors, and is located in the city of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. It was inaugurated on January 4, 2010. It's almost new compared to our other buildings, and it was originally going to be called Burj Dubai. Burj in Arabic means tower. And the name changed because during construction, the city went into crisis, and then the president at the time, who was Khalifa bin Zayed, gave some money to help out. Just a basic little thing, like $10 billion. So, they decided to name the tower after him. It ended up being called Burj Khalifa. So how does the engineering of this thing work, more or less? In the middle, it has a central pillar, kind of like a backbone, which also serves as the elevator shaft. If you look from above, you'll see that these little edges here, which would be the petals of the flower, they close in a spiral shape. And this allows the wind to swirl around it. This helps with stability. You can imagine that something almost 1 kilometer tall has to handle the wind well, right? At the very top, it has a lightning rod that's so tall, it practically protects the whole city from lightning. And since it was a very hot region, the concrete was poured at night, mixed with ice, so it wouldn't cure too quickly. It's similar to what was done at Itepu, but there's something else. There's a huge challenge in building such a tall structure, right? From the ground up. The question is, what do you do from the ground down? Even more so considering this was built on sandy ground. It's in the desert. They dug more than 150 meters deep and didn't find any rock to anchor the structure. This was the solution. This is the base of the Burj Khalifa. which we 3D printed to the same scale, okay? So it's gigantic, but compared to the height of the building, it's almost nothing. These are pillars. There are 192 of them. They're 47 meters long. That's about the height of a 15-story building, more or less, and 3.7 meters in diameter. Let's do a test to see if this really sticks in the sand. Let's try to put the foundation of the Burj Khalifa in the sand. I have to confess to you that we're already missing several pillars because the print we made wasn't very strong. But I think it's going to work. As it sinks, the sand puts pressure around the pillars. The friction gets stronger and stronger, and it gets harder to sink. That means this foundation gets stronger and stronger. The secret is to sink it gently. This becomes incredibly firm. It's not a very scientific test we're going to do, but it would be cool to put the building on top of this, right?
Pelo menos essa miniatura aguenta bem.
These pillars, they're made of metal and could rust, because over there in the sand, a bit of seawater comes up, and this damages the metal over time. But then, they had an idea. They run electricity through the pillars. And then electrolysis happens. There's a metal, which in this case we call a sacrificial anode, and that's the one that oxidizes over time, instead of the pillar. Later, you can replace it, and the building's structure is fine. But enough talking about the Burj Khalifa. We have here a collection of engineering masterpieces, and we decided to make a Top Trumps game with them. If you don't remember Top Trumps, it's that card collection where, I don't know, you have cars, then you have to compete and see which car is faster, or animals to see which animal makes the biggest poop of all. We made our own Top Trumps here, with cards for each engineering masterpiece. So let's get started. The first item is height, and of course, the Burj Khalifa wins with 828 meters. But there's a detail in this story. Our Christ the Redeemer is only 38 meters tall. It's one of the smallest engineering works among all of these. But it's on top of Corcovado Mountain, which is 710 meters high. What would that look like next to the Burj Khalifa, huh? This is really crazy. It means that if you're at the foot of Corcovado, looking at the city down below, it's almost the same as looking at the city from the top of the Burj Khalifa. In practice, Christ the Redeemer is even cooler because the observation deck that most people go to at the Burj Khalifa is at 555 meters high. It's the highest artificial observation deck in the world. But the base of Christ the Redeemer is way above that. Thinking about weight now. In third place is the Colosseum, which is basically a stadium made of stone. It weighs 230,000 tons. The Burj Khalifa, even though it's gigantic, comes in second place with 500,000 tons. It's practically hollow inside, after all. And the one that's really heavy is the Pyramid of Khafra. It weighs 5,750,000 tons. It's basically a mountain of stone. Now, let's talk about construction time. That's when engineers get that chill down their spine. And I'm going to start right away with the shameful loser, which is the Tower of Pisa. It simply took 199 years to be completed. It wasn't exactly due to engineering incompetence. There were wars in Italy, and everything was a mess. The construction of the tower. Now, the fact that it ended up leaning. Let's be honest, right? Imagine funding a project that lasts 199 years and isn't even straight. Now, let's discuss some of our fastest ones here. Burj Khalifa took 6 years to build, while the Eiffel Tower was completed in just 2 years. There's another example here. That isn't really an engineering project, ELD. But I included it for scale. The Blue Whale. Its gestation lasts only 15 months. But the really fast one, which is small, well, small when compared to the others, right, is the Boeing 737, which can be built in just 10 days. I didn't expect that. In the competition for age, you probably guessed that the pyramid wins too, right? 4,600 years. There are some other monuments here that are over 1,000 years old too. The Parthenon in Greece.
2.460 anos.
The Colosseum.
1940 anos.
And the Pyramid of Chichen Itza. 1,100 years. There are 2 works here that no longer exist, so we only considered the time they lasted. which is the Zeppelin Hindenburg. It lasted only 1 year. And the Titanic. It sank on its maiden voyage, so it lasted only 4 days. Now, thinking about construction costs, you must have imagined that these things here weren't cheap, right? There are some whose cost we can't determine. It's been a long time, there isn't enough data. But for the ones we put the cost in dollars, in today's dollars. Burj Khalifa, $1.5 billion. Pretty much the same as a Saturn V rocket, which took man to the moon. And then comes the question, why haven't we gone back there, right? But there are even more expensive things. The Taj Mahal, which, by the way, we didn't even finish painting properly. It's kind of poorly finished. The real one is much more beautiful than this. It cost $2.5 billion. And the most expensive of all, I bet it wasn't even on your mind. It's the Typhoon submarine. It's nuclear. So that means inside it, you have to put a nuclear power plant inside it. And besides that, it also carries nuclear warheads, which, as you might have guessed, aren't exactly the cheapest things in the world. Estimated cost, which isn't a very public number since it's military equipment, is $5 billion. Final ranking. The pyramid is the oldest and the heaviest of all. Burj Khalifa is the tallest. Typhoon submarine is the most expensive. And the Boeing 77 is the fastest to build. Stop. I have the card for the Burj Khalifa, the pyramid, the Typhoon, and the Boeing. No, man. Because there's a card you didn't even think of, which is the one for the stick tower. But that tower isn't even the tallest. That's true. But it's the lightest, the cheapest, and the one that stood for the shortest time. Even though it doesn't exist anymore, it's the most beloved of all. But look, guys, here at the end, I need to confess something to you, that this whole collection, we made it because of a single image, which compares them from smallest to largest. This right here. That's it. If you like these great engineering challenges, we made a video about one of the biggest tragedies involving one of these printed miniatures here, which was the Hindenburg fire. It's a really crazy story. Click to check it out.